All right, I'll keep this short and simple because it is 3 in the morning, but this is the sneak peek to my course, Concert Photography and Stop Motion Mastery. This course is dedicated to concert photographers who are looking to step up their game in the industry through animations and stop motion. I've been working on this course for 4 months. It's coming out Cyber Monday 2024. There's going to be a 48-hour sale, 40% off. You don't want to miss it. So with that being said, here is how to edit basic stop motion in Photoshop, and let's get started. All right, everybody, now we are loaded into Adobe Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop 2025, but this can work up to with every model before 2020, if I'm correct. So yeah, let's get right into it. Before we begin, we want to use help and find our keyboard shortcuts. You just type in keyboard, if I spell it right, keyboard shortcuts. This is very important if you want to make your animations a lot faster. You can pick a custom key. Instead of Command M, you can do like Command S, right? Whatever you desire. So we're gonna undo that because I don't want to do that and click OK. Now, step 1, File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack. As you can see, I created the custom key Command O. If you're on a PC, you can customize it to Control O, right? So Command O, and we're gonna have this box Load Layers. We're gonna click Browse. We're gonna head to the desktop like we did before, right here, and select everything. Click Open, click OK. And now on the right hand side where the layers are, you're gonna see that it's going to load in. Typically this takes like 10 to 15 seconds, but since we're screen recording this tutorial, it's gonna take a little bit longer, but it's going pretty fast. Perfect. So as you can see here, it's loaded in, but there is a little mistake here. So let me expand it. As you can see, our files are not in order, right? We have images 4 through 9 here, but then it goes 1 to 10. So we gotta fix that. This will not happen all the time, but it's just important to know. Typically this will happen if you have more than 10 images. In my case, we have 31 today. So we're just gonna reorganize that, right? It goes 3 to 30, we don't want that. It will just make the animation unorganized and just do weird jump cuts. So it's typically a mistake that happens. It's, this is why I like to keep these mistakes in here so you folks can learn along the way and you know how to fix it, right? So now we are back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yeah, there we go. We're gonna bring that back in here. So to make sure our image, we can really see what we're doing, we're gonna click on the right with the gray and click custom, and it'll give us a nice white background. If you do not have this, you're gonna click select custom color and then just pick whatever color you want. We're gonna stick with white, click OK. And also the key element to creating these animations, you can't see it here, but we're gonna bring it. You're gonna go to Window, Timeline, boom, right there. And for a lot of you folks, it's gonna say Create Video Timeline. We do not want that. That is not what you want. You wanna go to Create Frame Animation. You're gonna click it again. And already we have one image loaded in. That is image number 1. And essentially, how do you get the rest of the images? It's very simple. So you're gonna click on these hamburgers right here. And yes, that's what the Photoshop people call it. Hamburger. Make frames from layers. And we're gonna select, we're gonna shift click all the way to the last one. And we're gonna change the timing. Most people like to do, I personally like to do, 0.1 because it's a nice happy medium, right? There is our stop motion, looking really good, typical. Some people like to do 0.2. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it is way too slow. Like, look at that. That's not really my favorite. And then I've been kind of experimenting with 0.0 with no delay at all. Gives a nice little fun look. And then sometimes I like to go between 0 and 0.1 here. And maybe let's do 0.5. And it gives us this nice look as well. But for this example, we're gonna do 0.1. I think that is the most flattering. Now, it's not quite done, as we can see here. It does look like it is, but it's not. So Photoshop will like to import your images backwards for some reason. So we have to go back to the hamburger and click reverse frames. And we have it. That's it. That's it right there. Now, let's crop it, all right? So let's click C, press C. And as we can see, this 4:5, this would be the crop for an Instagram post. But most of us are probably gonna post this on Instagram stories, TikTok. So we're gonna do, it's gonna say 16:9. It's gonna give us that horizontal look. We're gonna go vertical today. And that's really it. And then we crop into our liking. I want her more in the center. We're gonna go there. And that's it, right? But let's add a little more. So, how about we loop it, right? Let's give that millennial boomerang. And I'm saying that as someone who was a zillennial, half Gen Z. It's a real thing, look it up. So let's select all of them. We're gonna shift, click to the last one, this plus button right here. Press it, and then hamburgers again, reverse frames. It's waving, we're good, points away, smiles, and we reverse it right there. Perfect. Now that would be a good 6-second animation. I'm just gonna undo it. I have Command Z. If you're on a PC, it would be Control Z. All right, now it is time to export our video. As we can see here, if we went to image, canvas size, it's gonna say 2000 by 5000. We are not exporting a file that big. No way, absolutely not. So we're gonna go to command, so we do file, export, render video. I customized it to Command W, so do whatever floats your boat. So Command W for me, and again, we're gonna rename it one last time. Date, event and city. Final Annie, we're gonna call it V1, just in case if I was sending it to a client, they're like, hey, we want revisions on this. Always important to do V1, V2, V3. One time I had to do 35 revisions. We're not talking about it. I'm still scarred. And we're gonna export it to my desktop because my SSD just doesn't like exporting stop motion for some reason. And remember we had the 5000 by 2000? Yeah, we're gonna bring this because we have a 9 by 16 crop, 1080 by 1920. And if you're doing 16 by 9, 1920 by 1080, Instagram, 1080 by 1350. Can you tell that I studied graphic design in college and this is all I did for 4 years? Anyway, now we're gonna hit render. And it will go pretty fast because again, this is 0.1 seconds per frame, so we got like 30 frames. This may be like 30 seconds-ish. Yeah, not 30 seconds, 3 seconds, oh my God. But yeah, no, this is how I like to do things. I like doing things uncut because this is how we learn. This is literally how it would go if you were physically right next to me. So yeah, we are good to go. Not yet, you're still waiting for the bonus tip, I know you are. We're gonna minimize it. Final video. Looks amazing, looks great. But we have a little issue. Let's play that one last time. It's shaky, and it's shaky because I was using a telephoto lens and I was zoomed in all the way. Now we can fix that by clicking a little stabilization button, okay? So let's do Command O, browse, and we're gonna select them all again, open. Now there's this button right here, attempt to automatically align source images. Now, a lot of video editing softwares will have like warp stabilizer or some stabilization adjustment filter. I don't know what the right effect. But a lot of people don't know Photoshop has the same thing. And it's gonna be really easy to use this. So we're just gonna click attempt to align, automatically align the layers. And we're gonna click OK, and I will show you exactly what it does. So as we can see here, it's gonna load in again and we're gonna have to reorganize, do the whole thing. We'll skip over that. I'll do a timeline just to save up time on that because we already know how that goes. As we can see here, it's gonna start this little like align. It's gonna use Olivia's head and track her head, which is gonna be really, really cool to keep it stable. All right, so just to see exactly what it did, let me just turn this from white to the default in Photoshop. As we can see here, we have the grids, the transparent grids, and all the layers are essentially stacked onto each other because again, it is going to lock into Olivia's head, and that is why I chose this animation for the very first editing tutorial in this course, because it really shows how you can make these animations very clean and very polished with absolutely no effects on it besides the stop motion, right? So if we make it again, make frames from layers, and as we can see now all the images are stacked on top of each other and they're going to be moving around, but we're going to talk about that in the next video, which is the jitter effect. We're not doing that today. So we have 0.1 seconds. We clicked reverse frames if I'm correct. Yes. Yep, perfect. And then we're going to crop it, same 9 by 16 crop. And we're gonna go pretty close, like there. I wanna keep her centered. We're gonna hit return, and on a count of 3, we're gonna show you how clean this looks. Look how less shaky it is. Her head's locked in perfectly. And yeah, we're just gonna export that. We're just gonna call it stable for the sake of the tutorial. If I can learn to spell stable, okay. Click render. This will be pretty quick because it's only like 3 seconds. And then I'm gonna show you a side-by-side to finish up this video. All right, awesome. So we're gonna X out of that. We're just gonna click don't save. Let's bring these two up against each other, even though it's the same clip. There we go, perfect. So here was the before. We got the stop motion down, but it's very, very shaky. And then here is our after. Super smooth, very clean, organized type of stop motion. And that's all it takes to create a basic stop motion. Now let's move on to the next video where we're gonna talk about advanced techniques to elevate these stop motions.